Okay, hi everybody. If you are watching this video, it's because you're a new coach. This is your first training video, and we're gonna talk about Facebook because um, social media is a very big part, and you can't really do this business without it. So here we go, Facebook 101. To start off, Facebook is always changing. So whether you're a new coach or you're a veteran coach watching this for the first time, this is always a really good training. When you're thinking about posts that you should be making, you want to weave in fitness and nutrition. You don't want to make it all of your posts. That's not all of who you are. You want people to be able to get to know you and relate to you in some way. If it's fine if you've always done that. If you're into fitness and you've always posted about that, then you can keep doing that because nothing has changed. But most people who come into the business haven't been posting on a regular basis, so this is something totally new. Um, you want to get on people's radar, so you need to be posting. You can't get away with not posting and be successful in this business. Um, for example, say you have a friend, Sarah, and Sarah wakes up and is just feeling blah and wants to lose weight and get back into shape. So she's going to reach out to you because she's seen your post. She knows you've had results. She knows you're not going to be pushy and etc. That is how you want people to view you. Be that person that people can trust. Listen to what their needs are, what their likes are, and all that stuff. Um, Attracting new people has a lot to do with what you're doing on social media. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in then. The first thing, this is everything that I just talked about. Sorry, I didn't realize I had a slide for it. So next, then affinity and edge rank is the first thing you really want to talk about. Affinity is your personal interaction score with somebody. So if I'm liking and commenting on your stuff and you're liking and commenting on my stuff, then you and I have a high affinity score, okay? And then edge rank is your overall secret popularity ranking with Facebook based on your friends and followers' interactions with you. This will be low if you're not posting often and don't have a lot of interaction on your page. For example, say you hit a huge milestone or have something deep and dark that you've been wanting to share with everyone and are super excited to share something new about yourself. So you go and post it, say at like noon on a Wednesday. What happens is Facebook says, well, Megan hasn't posted since last week, and there aren't a lot of her friends logged in right now. And the people that are logged in don't often interact on her stuff when she does post. So let's just show it on her mom's newsfeed only, or maybe we'll show it on her two best friends' newsfeed also. And then what happens is if no one likes or comments right then when the post is made, Facebook then says, well, this post isn't getting any attention. This post is dead. Let's not show it on anyone else's newsfeed. Then your self-esteem is down and you're wondering, why didn't any of my friends like or comment on my post? This is such a huge deal to me. So to increase your edge rank, you should, one thing you can do is ask for people's opinions. Which dress do you like better, dress A or dress B? You can have two pictures side by side and do a little A on one and a B on the other. That's a good way. And then also your comments back to people when they comment and like on your stuff. That counts as interaction on that post. So make sure you're commenting back, thanking people, etc., to keep up the interaction on that post. And it's going to keep going. Facebook's going to keep viewing it as popular, and it's going to bring it to more and more news feeds. So that's affinity and edge rank. You want your edge rank to be high so that more people see your stuff. The next thing I want to go over is crickets on a post. So when you're going to post, consider what time it is, what audience you're trying to reach, and the content that you're putting out. Is it funny? Is it engaging? Relatable? Is it credible? Or is it valuable? When not enough people comment on it or like it right away, then Facebook kills it and it doesn't get to anyone else's newsfeed. A lot of times when Tyler's laptop is here, if you don't know who Tyler is, he's my significant other. And so if his laptop's here, I'll make a post and then I'll go on his laptop and like my stuff right away. If he's here, I'll say, hey, can you go like my post right away? That way Facebook sees, oh, someone liked it right away. But yeah, if no one likes it and it's gone by like 15 minutes and still no one's liked or commented on it, then Facebook's gonna kind of kill it. When you're posting, consider what time it is that you're going to make that post. So for me personally, if I make a post at like 3 or 4, I'll get crickets. I know I have learned, and I've learned, kind of what times get the most traction and what times are just dead for my followers. Because I've been doing this for a while now, and so I have a pretty good following. I did not have a good following right away, so don't worry about that. But you'll kind of get into a groove, and your followers will start to see, what times and when will be the most popular for you. You'll get that over time. But the common thought process of a new coach is, I don't have a following of people who want to eat healthy or who are interested in working out. That is okay, right? Most people do not start out with a big following, like I just said. That's the thing, though. You build a following. You build a network of like-minded people who want to be healthier. This all happens over time, I promise, right? For that newer coach whose friends list is all family, high school friends, relatives, coworkers, a lot of people who are just not into fitness. Your posts have to be very creative and just barely weaving in fitness and nutrition, but you're doing it in a way that is not annoying to them. Okay, just kind of listen here for a second. So when you're posting as a new coach, you don't want to blow up your Facebook, people's news feeds with fitness this, fitness that, I'm fitness expert, and I'm doing this thing, you should do. You want to like show it to people, but you're doing it in a way that's not annoying. You're doing it in a way that lets them participate even though they're not interested in health or fitness. You're doing it in a way that you're still getting on their radar. You're still sending a subtle message that you are into fitness and health and you are helping people, and that you're on your journey. So for example, you have one pair of Nike shoes on one side in a picture and another pair of different color of Nike shoes on the other side. And you say, friends, I need your opinion. Which pair of workout shoes do you like better, the pink or the mint green? And by doing this allows people to give their opinion and sends that subtle message that you're working out and maybe you're someone they can go to if they need help. You need to be consistently sending those subtle messages where it's not fitness in their face, lecturing on what they should do. You're there, people can come to you, you want to send off that message that they can come to you, and you want to get on people's radar that you are into health and fitness and they kind of on this journey. Okay, so next, I want to go into I'm going to do Facebook do's and don'ts. We're going to go over Facebook don'ts first. And I want you to really pay attention to these because these can really hurt your business. Okay, so the first thing is do not post a link in your caption. Facebook does not want its viewers to leave Facebook. So whether it's a YouTube video, a link to your website if you have one, a link to your like page, whatever it may be, Facebook will prohibit that from reaching other news feeds. So don't be surprised if you have a link in your caption and that post doesn't get any attraction. Sometimes it will. Sometimes those go over well, but rarely. So just keep that in mind. Next, do not click share from another person's post. This, sometimes this does get traction, but when you click share, it's not going to get traction from your news feed. If you see a post and it's inspired you, take what you've learned and create your own post, and credit that person, but create something that is your own. Sometimes it helps if you put the link in the comments, or, you make a photo and you put the link on the photo using like WordSwag or an app like that. Those are a couple ways to get around it. When people share your post, however, it's a clear sign to Facebook that your post is popular. It'll get you more traction, but the people that shared it won't get traction. So if you share a post and there's a ton of likes on it, it's not bringing traction to you, it's bringing traction to that original post. Does that make sense? The next thing then, do not share stock photos. I can't stress this enough. Don't Google Beachbody blah blah blah. Okay, That is not you. Beachbody does a good enough job at doing that themselves, and it just brings them to beachbody.com and not your personal site. So, yeah, you're bringing Beachbody in money and customers and stuff, but those aren't necessarily going to go to you for other people that see them. Some people are scared to reach out, so they might just see, oh, I see Beachbody, I'm going to go beachbody.com. Okay, so don't share stock photos. Share you. Do not post too much of the same thing. It's hard, as a newer coach, it's hard to come up with content sometimes, and I totally get it. Okay, we've all been there, and it's like, okay, what am I going to post? I know I have to post this many times, but what am I going to post? To your viewers, if you're posting the same thing over and over, it gets boring, right? If you see someone post the same thing every single day, you're like, oh, great, she's doing this again. Or, take a picture at different angles. If you're going to do sweaty selfies every day, make them different. Like, try to change it up a little bit. Like I said, different angles, go outside, do it in the street, set up the self timer. I do that all the time. And just change it up. Next, do not post blurry or dark pictures. You can brighten them with apps. You can, if it's a really dark photo, you can raise the exposure, and you can seriously make like a really dark picture seem like it's in clear daylight. So one app is PS Express. You can use this to raise exposure. Or, if you're doing a food picture, a really good thing to make the picture kind of pop, you can sharpen it. So those are two different kind of hacks to make pictures pop a little more. So don't post blurry or dark pictures. Do not post a statement unless it's really funny or compelling. So what I mean by this, for example, you just post something short like, leg day, I feel amazing. Okay, great. Right? Like, Facebook will take this to a handful of people, and people will scroll and maybe see it and say, okay, well, good for Megan, and then just keep scrolling. Point being, it's not a big deal that you just did leg day and you feel amazing. I mean, like, good for you, but it's nothing where people will feel compelled to stop and comment. So don't just post a simple statement unless it's really funny or compelling where people can relate and comment. If you post a question or a poll so people can voice their opinion, people love getting their opinion. So start like asking for people's opinions on different things. It can be, something that you really like I really like coffee. So I could post something like, okay, how many people use creamer in their coffee? Or do you like your coffee black or with creamer in it? Or what kind of creamer do you use? Or what kind of coffee do you drink? Something like that, just for an example. Just allow people to voice their opinions and get traction to your posts and get people seeing your stuff. So, next, do not have your posts go directly from Instagram to Facebook. Okay, Facebook views Instagram as a third party. You can overlap your content, just post it separately and don't do it with every single post. Instagram should stick to a theme, like, faith, food, and fitness. Or if you have people that are following you, like, specifically for those things, if you don't stick to that theme, then you'll lose followers, excuse me. If you copy and paste content to Facebook also, add a question at the end because you want people to like and comment almost instantly. Do not duplicate other people's posts. And this is another one that I really cannot stress enough. You see these top coaches and you're like, oh my gosh, they get so much traction and I need to be doing what they're doing and they did this and this is going to work really well for me. Facebook recognizes when it sees duplicate posts and keeps it from getting to other people's news feeds. You can duplicate certain concepts in similar but not identical content, but make it your own. A lot of people on our team, they'll see like posts that are like, oh, join me with this group that I'm doing, and it'll have this whole thing laid out, and they're like, oh my gosh, that went over so well, I'm going to copy and paste that as my status. And then if they get crickets because it's not coming from them, the people that they got it from, they've created and built a following. So make things your own, be unique. Don't copy and paste other people's posts exactly. Brainstorm a little first and then kind of make something your own. And that's really all I have for the Facebook don'ts. Go ahead and feel free to come back to this because these are super important, or reach out to me or whoever your upline coach is, and we'll kind of help you out. Okay, Facebook do's. These are equally as important. So you should have a bright, clear, smiling headshot of you as your profile picture. And why you should do this is because in order to work this business, you have to start building a network, and you'll be friend requesting these people. And all they really have to go on is your profile picture. So be smiling, be friendly. You know, if you go and answer your door, you want to be able to see who's knocking on your door, right? You don't want to just have someone that you can't see your face and you're like, well, I don't know who you are, right? So have a clear picture of your head. Maybe if it's you and your boyfriend, people can see that, oh, this is a female name or whatever, it's got to be the girl, or you and your kid, you know, they know some baby's not friend requesting them. But have a clear picture of your face. Next, use an app for your banner. A good one is like, if you're gonna be like doing this and you really want to make this work, you know, you want people to see that, like, take you seriously, right? So you can use an app for your banner. Like a good website to go to is Canva, canva.com, and you can create one your own. Or you can get it professionally done. And a website you can do this at is girlbossgraphics.com. So use an app, make your banner look nice, all that jazz. Next, post 3 times a day. Make it a variety of posts, but consistent with your branding. Okay, you want to brand yourself, essentially. If you're new, at first it might seem awkward, and it's totally okay to ease into it, okay? Maybe one week you start posting every other day, and then the next week it's once a day, and then up to twice a day. You know, you kind of have to figure out for yourself, what kinds of posts do you want to do? Maybe you can have a formula of, you know, family, food, and fitness. You can have a variety of what you want to post, so be consistent. You know, for example, I hate cooking, and I've shared that. So I'm not going to suddenly share that I love cooking after one meal comes out like perfectly. That hadn't changed anything. I still don't like to cook. I'm not going to change that up, right? And also, everyone's message should be different. You know, we all have the same products that we're offering, but what's different is you. You are different than every other coach. So you have to find what that is, and what people can relate about to you. Another thing, you know, post with a great original picture, something that's gonna stop someone's scroll. You know, stock photos, those are not going to stop them. So have a picture of you, you know, candidates are good, or if you have a great idea, just make it you. Short, funny posts and memes, these go over really well. So go ahead and do those. Again, don't share it. You can make it your own, or you can save a picture off of Pinterest. I do that often. Those go over really well. You know, people like to see things that's going to make them laugh. Ask questions that truly ask for their opinion. You know, you can take polls, as we kind of talked about before. Not something like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Don't do that. People reading this will just think that you don't actually want their answer, and you just want them to stop. And that people will think that you don't want them to actually stop, and you don't want to hear their answer, right? So another post that won't get much traction are questions that are an obvious yes or an obvious no. Like, do you want to get fitter and feel your absolute best? Obviously, most people do want to feel their best and be fit. You know, so don't post something like that. Or like, hey, which shoes do you like better, the red ones or the white ones? You know, that's a good one. So another one, post pictures of you whenever possible, right? You want people to relate to you, and you want to build a following. You want people to come to you for health and fitness questions. You want people to be your customers. So this will get better over time as you do it more, I promise. They don't need to be professional, but they need to be real and spontaneous. You know, if your message is that you're professional, fit, and healthy, then you don't want to post a picture of you just rolling out of bed. Yes, it's real, but you want to put your best foot forward if professional is your message. You can talk about things like how you felt just rolling out of bed, but you don't necessarily want that visual for people, right? And then lastly, for the do's, is comment back as soon as possible, and go ahead and tag that person that you're commenting back to. This gives your post more traction to news feeds, which is, definitely what you want. And also, people took time out of their day to stop and comment. So comment back. It's a polite thing to do, and it helps you in the long run. So those are what I have for the do's. And then here's what you can kind of expect. First off, EdgeRank, like we talked about at the beginning, Facebook's overall, your score with Facebook of interaction. This takes time to build, so you have to be consistent. You have to build up to posting 3 times a day, every single day. Really having a schedule for when you post, if it's 6 a.m., 4 p.m., and 9 p.m. for the only times that work for you, then so be it. You'll begin to attract people that are logging in at those times, and it will just build from there. But you have to be consistent with it. Some people never like or comment on your post anyways. This doesn't mean they don't see it, or I'm sorry, this doesn't mean that they do see it. I had that right the first time. I'm like confusing myself. Okay, some people really just don't like and comment on stuff, so it doesn't mean, they probably saw it, but they're just people that don't comment on stuff. I've messaged people and had them be like, oh my gosh, I follow you all the time, and I'm so interested in what you're doing, but I've never seen them like or comment on anything. Some people just don't do it, and that's okay. Keep posting. Some people will be negative. You really need to learn to ignore or delete them. You don't want those people working with you anyways. And there's not much you can do about it. Some people are just like that. So ignore or delete them. You need to be adding to your network daily. So you can go through your suggested friends list and adding people that you have mutual friends with. That's totally fine. And along with that, you should be tracking that. So if you have like a spreadsheet, what I do is I have a separate spreadsheet, and it's titled new ads, and I'll write their name and then the date that I sent them a friend request. Okay, so kind of get in the habit of tracking and stuff like that. You cannot be private on your Facebook. You got to be public, and you've got to be adding to your network every day, because if you're not adding to your network, you will run out of people to become your customers. And this will, again, get better with time, I promise. Fitness and business posts usually get less traction. Post them anyways. Do it in an engaging and subtle way so that they get traction. Sometimes they're going to be inviting to challenge groups or the business opportunity, and those posts are a little more direct and get less traction, but that's okay. Even the top coaches, when they post a call to action for a challenge group or for the business opportunity, even the top coaches get little traction on those, but they keep posting it, and you should too. Sometimes a post just bombs for no good reason. And by that, I mean it doesn't go over well at all. Maybe you posted something similar before and it got great traction, and the next time it got like 2 likes. It just happens sometimes, and it really is unexplainable. So don't let it get you down. Great posts, from what I've seen, in my opinion and others' opinions, a great post has an original picture and relatable caption. This is why you don't want to be copying what someone else is saying. Have original thoughts and original captions. What are some thoughts that go through your head on a daily basis? Sometimes right before you work out, or are tempted by a certain food, or when you miss a workout, or when you did a workout, and what are you thinking then? Things that go through your head that no one else says. Those are some really good things to post. You're thinking about something like, oh my gosh, I just thought about this, whatever, I've never seen anyone else post it. That's going to be a great post, okay? Just think about it a little, come up with something. And your posts don't have to be super long. A lot of my posts are fairly short because not everyone wants to stop and read a paragraph or a freaking book, right? Some posts should be longer depending on, what you're kind of saying. A lot of times when I'm talking about my story as coming into coaching and how it's transformed my life, those posts are a little longer compared to something if I'm just doing like a sweaty selfie or something like that. Those should be pretty short. So that's all I really have. This was, like I said, your first training if you're a new coach, or if you're a veteran coach just watching this. This is always great training to kind of keep it in your mind of what you should and shouldn't do and what's going on with Facebook. So thank you for watching, and if you're a newer coach, let me know, send me an email or a Facebook message that you've watched this training and you've digested it, or if you have any questions, all right? All right, thank you so much.